We have finally made it. The final part in the History of Gallifrey, and it's a nice round number with 10. We've passed through the age of the Pythia, before the Time Lords, their founding, presidencies, constitutional crises, and most interestingly the Time Wars, but we are finally at the end, the aftermath of the last great Time War and beyond. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. While the Time Lords were hiding in the Pocket Universe, N-Space believed them to be dead. Their position as keepers of the Web of Time was fought over by many time-active races, including the Cybermen, the Sontarans, and the Unon. The Time Agency eventually asserted themselves as the new protectors of time. After the 11th Doctor's TARDIS was destroyed by the Silence, a number of cracks in the fabric of reality appeared in the universe. When the Matrix detected this breach, the Time Lords took control of the last cracks, hoping that the Doctor would answer and confirm they had found the right universe. From the planet Trenzalore, the Time Lords sent out the message, Doctor Who, in order that the 11th Doctor might speak his true name and confirm that it was safe to return. The message was received by a great number of species. Some came to Trenzalore to fight the Time Lords should they return. Others, such as the Vord, feared that the Time Lords would restore history back to as it was before the Time War, and so fled. Rather than restart the Time War, the Doctor defended Trenzalore for hundreds of years in what became known as the Siege of Trenzalore. The new Dalek paradigm, fearing that the Time Lords would destroy them upon their return, devoted the totality of its military might to ensuring that their foes would remain lost. The conflict endured to the point that the Doctor was dying of old age, no longer able to regenerate. At the behest of Clara Oswald, the Time Lords saved the Doctor's dying body by granting him a new cycle of regenerations, allowing him to regenerate into the 12th Doctor and destroy the Daleks before closing the crack. The 12th Doctor later stopped the Daleks and Cybermen from taking control of the Gallifreyan starship Starbane. With Clara's pleas allowing the Time Lords to confirm that they had found N-Space, the Time Lords and Gallifrey left the dimension they were frozen in, returning into the universe, but were now at the extreme end of the time continuum for its own protection. The Time Lords cured the Master of his condition, and he soon left Gallifrey in a TARDIS in what according to him was a mutual kicking out. Fearing that the Visionary's prophecy of Gallifrey falling would now come about by the hybrid, Rassilon sought out information on the creature. Convinced by Missy that the 12th Doctor knew of it, Rassilon engineered a trap for his rival. Under his orders, Mayami tricked the 12th Doctor into having a teleport bracelet attached to his arm, and was teleported inside of his confession dial, where he was tortured to confess what he knew about the hybrid. Instead, he gradually tried breaking out through a wall of Asbantium inside the dial by punching it, and repeatedly burning his old body to create a new one. After approximately 4.5 billion years, the Doctor punched his way through. Rassilon was then dethroned from his position by the Doctor and the Time Lords, and the Doctor later ran with Clara Oswald to a later period of Gallifrey in a TARDIS. In his exile, Rassilon came across the last remnant of the Cybermen, entering into an alliance with them. With Rassilon's knowledge of Gallifrey's defences, the Gallifreyan cyber fleet invaded and quickly conquered the planet. The Cybermen rounded up the Time Lords and wired them into looms, so as to feed their regenerative energy into the Eye of Harmony, while using Gallifrey as their new capital to launch assaults on all of space and time. The 12th Doctor and Rassilon eventually managed to negate this timeline of events, with the Doctor wondering if anyone but him had any memory of it. Shortly before its destruction, River Song returned to Gallifrey and absconded with the Black Scrolls of Rassilon. In retaliation for the lie of the Timeless Child, a secret kept by the founding fathers of Gallifrey, the Spy Master revealed to the 13th Doctor that he had returned to the planet, once again hiding in its little bubble universe, and razed it to the ground, supposedly killing everyone there. Indeed, when the Doctor returned to Gallifrey after learning this, she found the capital in ruins. The 15th Doctor later speculated the genocide had spread out across the universe beyond Gallifrey, wondering whether his granddaughter Susan had been caught up in it. A ruined Gallifrey appeared to the 13th Doctor across the boundary, shortly after Ko-Shamus showed it to her. The Spy Master, arriving through the boundary, warned her that everything was about to change. He led the Doctor back to the ruins of the capital, while inviting the Cybermen, led by Ashad, to the planet. The Master used the Matrix to show the Doctor the true history of Gallifrey and the truth of the Timeless Child. Using the cyber conversion machines on Ashad's cyber carrier, the Master transformed the dead Time Lords into a race of Cyber Masters, Cybermen with the ability to regenerate, in effect an invincible army. To stop him, the Doctor intended to detonate the death particle and wipe out all organic life on the planet, while sending her companions home in a TARDIS. However, Ko-Sharmus decided to sacrifice himself instead, while the Doctor escaped the planet in another TARDIS. Ko-Sharmus detonated the death particle in his last moments, wiping out all organic life left on Gallifrey, presumably including the Master and his army. Though the Doctor believed all life on Gallifrey had been destroyed thanks to Ko-Sharmus's efforts and the death particle, the Master and his creations managed to survive. The Master would later use technology he'd taken from Gallifrey in his plan to take the Doctor's body and identity through forced regeneration. The division still existed, now under the leadership of Tecteun, and decided to abandon the universe for the next one. To this end, they enacted a plan to destroy N-Space by unleashing the Flux in space and releasing the Ravagers in time. The first Flux event failed to destroy the universe entirely due to colliding with the Doctor's TARDIS, so the division prepared a second. However, shortly before it was unleashed, the Ravagers used a psycho-temporal bridge to reach division control and killed Tecteun, seizing control of the Flux for themselves. Nevertheless, after effect of the Flux caused some words to be associated with the 13th Doctor's memories to be jumbled and scattered throughout a book the Doctor had written. The clue associated with the anagram for Gallifrey, and written from the Doctor's perspective, was "a planet from my past and future." New Alexandria, the planet on which the crystal Bucephalus was located, was built in the ruined remains of Gallifrey. So was Ardeth. Christine Summerfield wrote Dead Romance in the ruins of an abandoned Gallifrey, after escaping the Bottle universe and before joining Faction Paradox. According to the Somnus Foundation, when the end of the universe began to occur, the Time Lords left this reality along with some species they had deemed worthy of survival, which did not include humanity. According to one account, apparently 60 billion years after 2367 AD, at the end of the universe, Gallifrey had been destroyed, and Winkle's Wonderland had been relocated there. The Divergence made an attempt to break free at the end. According to a historical account, Gallifrey and the last of the Immortals were all that remained in the universe near its end, following the loss of Utopia. 5 minutes before Hell, Gallifrey was maintained by a reality bubble, when Me was the only being left in the ruined cloisters. Me watched the stars die, and later left Gallifrey at the final moments before the universe's end with the 12th Doctor and Clara Oswald in a TARDIS after the Doctor's memory of Clara was wiped by a neural block. Clara and Me later returned to Gallifrey the long way round. Some of the stories contained within the Cheshire house were of the Time Lords. You read them when visiting the house, remember? In a possible future of the 8th Doctor he saw in the Tomorrow windows, Gallifrey was invaded by an alien race. By this point, the 9th Doctor had retired to live with the woman that he loved, the daughter of the Lord President. The aliens killed most of the Time Lords, who retreated into the Matrix, whilst the Doctor's love was truly dead. The Doctor sent the aliens packing with the help of the Master, with the Master's physical body being destroyed in the process. The Doctor used Matrix technology to store him in a robot made out of TARDIS materials. From inside the Matrix, the Time Lords used their power to send the Doctor off to sort out the most dangerous problems in the universe, just as they used to. And there we have it. That's it. The entire history of Gallifrey wrapped up in 10 parts of varying length, but it's not over yet. We still have the 2 sub-series to release, and I do plan on putting out a video of Gallifrey's entire history, putting all of these parts together. I will probably remake the first 3 or 4, as looking back their quality is not really consistent with everything part 5 on was, and also got copyright claimed thanks to music. This has been an incredible journey, just over 2 years in the making. I am sorry that it took this long to complete, but I did have a lot of stuff in between that did slow it down, including my series New Beginnings. But if you did enjoy this series, then consider leaving a like and subscribing down below if you haven't already. It's the best way to support me, and it's completely free. We've done a lot of History of Gallifrey videos just to try and wrap this up, so I think it's about time we get back on track with the proper Archive-verse Lost series, and maybe look at a time in Dalek history or another species. I do have one in mind that would be quite interesting. But, as always, thanks for watching.